Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Poland and Germany have just concluded their 17th intergovernmental consultations, resulting in an extensive joint declaration covering security, Ukraine, energy infrastructure, memory and restitution of cultural property. Despite ambitious commitments, public sentiment and political pressures suggest that bilateral relations remain fragile. To assess the real state of this partnership, its achievements, tensions and prospects, we speak with Janusz Reiter, former Polish ambassador to Germany. Mr. Ambassador, welcome to TVP World. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Before we start, there's a short soundbite from Chancellor Merz that I'd like to share with you and then get your view.
Als deutscher Bundeskanzler will ich sagen, wir Deutsche.
As German Chancellor, I want to say we Germans need a strong Poland as an equal partner. We have a fundamental interest in this, and we want Poland to be a powerful partner for a secure, free and prosperous Europe. I would add, for a Europe that concentrates on the essentials instead of shackling itself with petty bureaucracy. For that is the imperative in this new era, in which we as Europeans must assert ourselves in an increasingly harsh world. It is imperative in view of the threat posed by a revisionist Russia. 80 years after the end of World War II and the German atrocities against the Polish people, one central lesson from history remains. Germany stands firmly and reliably alongside Poland. Especially in these times, when the unity of Europe is under such pressure, we must not allow ourselves to be divided.
Now, I know you didn't hear all of this due to technical issues, but from what you heard, your thoughts?
Well, there is a fundamental change in the Polish-German relationship. We agree on the perception of Russia, and we also agree on our attitude toward Russia. This is something that, couldn't be said that easily 10, 15 years ago. I believe that the differences were a little bit exaggerated on the Polish side, but there were real differences. That's not the case today. So we share the perception of Russia, of a revisionist, aggressive, growingly aggressive Russia. That's okay. The question is, so what do we do now together? And well, the answer to this question was not very impressive, but frankly speaking, the expectations before the meeting were rather low. So one couldn't say that this was a disappointment. It was no surprise. Maybe it was a disappointment, but no surprise.
Understood. Well, I mean, one does have to question then, Mr. Ambassador. This is the 17th such meeting. What's the point? Is it simply a habit that both sides get into and very little comes of it in the end until the next meeting?
Well, I believe that Poland is moving away from Germany for several reasons. And Germany, I don't know whether Germany is realizing that, but Germany is not doing enough to stop this drift. And moving away from Germany means moving away from Europe. This is the reality. And this is something that I think we have to worry about, and the Germans also have to worry about, because if we don't stop that, this can destroy the European balance and can weaken Europe, and that exactly at a point of time when we need a strong Europe. Maybe a positive result of the meeting is that it seems that both the Prime Minister and the Chancellor do understand the challenge. If you ask me whether they know how to meet the challenge, I'm not sure. And this is also a question of the domestic constraints they have on both sides, on the Polish side and on the German side. Different, but both parties have their own domestic trouble.
Domestic trouble in general or domestic trouble in context with the relationship between the countries?
Both. If you look at Germany, Chancellor Merz is struggling hard to do the reforms he promised in the election campaign. And the country needs these reforms, economic reforms, but also, well, kind of political reforms. Modernization of the entire governmental processes. This is not easy in such a big country with a lot of opposition against that. The Chancellor is also struggling hard to get consensus in his own coalition. So it's a difficult situation for him, and all that I mentioned takes place in a country that's in the shadow of the rising AfD, the populist party that is challenging not only the government but the entire political system of the country. In Poland, Prime Minister Tusk has failed to regain, so to speak, the power over public narratives. His opponents control the narratives, control the emotions. And emotions are extremely important in today's world. And unfortunately, the Polish-German relationship is not just an issue in Poland's foreign policy. It is an important issue of Poland's domestic agenda.
Right, so it sounds like quite a bleak picture, actually, that's been painted at the moment. But there are some bright spots, aren't there? I mean, for example, there was an agreement to begin construction of infrastructure projects between Germany and Poland, roads, bridges, and so on. And Germany has promised to return some artifacts to Poland, which it took during World War II. How much of a difference do you think actions like those are going to make in terms of bringing the two countries closer?
Unfortunately, what you mentioned, the infrastructure, but this is just a promise, this is just an announcement. It will take, I don't know how much time.
But it's a show of goodwill, is it not?
Yeah, that's not a problem of goodwill, certainly not. The other issue, the artifacts that you mentioned, of course, this is something this is an obvious issue. This must be fixed. There is no doubt about that. What I miss in all that is we need to impress people. We need to make people understand that now things are really changing, and this is not manageable. It seems it's not doable on both sides for different reasons, but the governments do not have enough space, enough room for maneuver to do something that would really impress the people. My idea has been that Germany should invest in Poland's defense capabilities, understanding that the Polish eastern border is the first defense line for Germany. So investing in Poland's defense is investing in Germany's defense. And this would really impress people, not only in Poland and in Germany, but in Europe. But unfortunately, it seems that there is not enough, what you can say, will, but there is not enough maybe political strength on the German side in this case to do that. It's not a question of understanding. I think the Germans do understand now. The problem is how much priority they give to this issue. And this is the question that we spoke about. Chancellor Merz struggling for his reform agenda, and the Polish Prime Minister struggling for the emotions, for the souls of the people.
How much of this relationship is mired in the past? We all know the horrors of the wars and so on. Is there a tendency to keep both countries stuck there, which is holding them back in moving forward?
Yeah, the tendency is on the Polish side, not on the German side. I mean, there is an understandable desire in Poland for more recognition of Poland's suffering during the war. This is absolutely understandable. But 20 or 30 years ago, the past did not play such a role as today. So it is not only about the past. This is more about the future, but people need the past to articulate their fears of the future.
Right. Now, there is already quite a lot of chasms, fissures between countries within the European Union and NATO, and I'm thinking of Hungary and Slovakia. Is there a danger that one of those fissures will form between Poland and Germany, thereby giving Vladimir Putin even greater leverage against both the EU and NATO?
Vladimir Putin certainly can certainly be absolutely happy seeing how Poland is and Germany are moving away from each other. For historical and for geographical reasons, a cooperation between Poland and Germany is the core. Also France, I would of course add France. This is the core of the European system. That's the core of the European stability that Vladimir Putin, of course, would be happy to destroy. So we should help him.
So a more pragmatic approach rather than perhaps an emotional one in terms of unity within the European Union and NATO, especially in this situation.
And we need positive emotions, and this is an emotional time.
Right.
The stakes are extremely high. We need these emotions. We need emotions that are constructive for the future, because there are real reasons to be concerned about our future, and we cannot tell apart the future of Poland and of Germany. And
right.
I wish we would understand that better than
well, the sooner we get there, Mr. Ambassador, I think most would agree, the better. Thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, as always, lots more coming up. Goodbye.